Okay, so moving on with notes for 8-G and its title, probability in words. That's where this kind of little diagram is going to come in here. And you can notice I've got some words at top of it already. We're going to add some things in the blank here. So first thing we're going to add in are our numbers. So if something is impossible, that means the probability of it happening would be not at all, which would be none, or 0, which would translate to 0%. Where on the other side, the complete opposite of the impossible would be what? If something's definitely not going to happen, the opposite of definitely not happening would be for sure happening, or something is certain to happen. And if something is certain to happen, what percent would most likely go around with something being certain to happen? Well, that would be 100%, which would translate to what number? And that would be 1. All right, so let's fill some things in the middle here. If I've got 0 on this side and 1 on this side, it only makes sense that in the middle I'm going to have the decimal of 5/10, which would give me a percentage of 50. Filling in the gaps, 0.25, 0.75, and I'm just going to jot down these fractions. Okay. Okay, so on one side we've got impossible with our zeros, and then on the flip side of that we have what is certain to happen, 100% gonna happen. In the middle we have what is equally likely. And now equally likely is tricky because impossible, does 1% count as impossible? No, so impossible must be equal to 0. So impossible must be equal to 0. And on the flip side of that, certain to happen must be equal to 1. And just like that, in the middle, for something to be equally likely, it can't be, 49% and 51%. It must be equal, or it must equal that 50%. It's got to be a 50-50 situation. Whereas now, most likely, on this high end over here, spans all the way from 40, nope, sorry, we're on the high end. So like 51 all the way to, 99, 50. That'd be something like 50.1 all the way to 99.9. And then on the flip side, if we have most likely over here, our other missing words would be not most likely, but unlikely to happen. Unlikely. And unlikely ranges all the way from like that 1% to that 40, so 0.1% all the way to that 49.9%. So we're going to come back and we're going to use this table to help us use words to describe probabilities.